My name's Paul Boothe. I'm a professor here at Ivey and director of the Lawrence Center for Policy and Management. I teach an HBA2 elective called Business and Public Policy, offered in the fall term. Stop for a moment and think about your day. How many times have you come into contact with government? You might have put federally inspected cream in your coffee. The weather report was based on observations by federal meteorologists. You got on a public bus or used your provincial driver's license to come to this publicly funded university. Government touches our lives in many ways every day. The same is true for business, and to succeed, business leaders need to understand government. Knowing how to work effectively with government can be the difference between business success and failure. In Business 4582, Business and Public Policy, we show you how government works and how to engage with it effectively. Our cases take you behind the scenes to learn the strategies of government managers. We look at how private sector leaders include engagement with government as part of their business strategies. We take field trips that show business-government engagement in action. And at our closing student conference, we put you in front of deputy ministers to give policy advice.
Hearing about that there would be field trips, that there would be real hands-on case, I was excited from day one.
The two most important things that interested me about this course were the field trip and the professor. The Professor Paul, he comes from the public sector and his working experience really benefited me a lot.
What I found to be really great about this course was that we adopted different perspectives. So we not only looked at the firm level, but we also adopted the perspective of a government influencer or someone within government.
With a lot of normal business school courses, you're just in the mindset of a manager, and you mostly focus on corporate related things, whereas you don't really touch where business policy and government policy interact.
One of the things I think a lot of business students think is that the less government, the better. But what I've learned is that government can and will almost always play a role in every industry that I can be possibly a part of as a business person. And being able to play at the intersection of government and business is really important.
The extent to which government policy actually influences business decisions, I think that was really important for me to learn, especially when we talked about the auto bailout and looked at the ramifications of what would have happened had the auto bailout not gone through.
I really liked the field trip to the Canadian Metals Laboratory in Hamilton. I was shocked that a place like that even existed. They were doing research there that the private sector wasn't really able to take on.
I've seen how the public sector could develop some technologies and reach out to the private sector so that they could develop some intellectual property together.
By having the government support there, you saw local industries being able to put more into research and development and seeing very practical ends to all the research and development. It was fascinating.
Getting exposure to the business executives that used the lab along with the government officials and how they all came together to make a better product for Canada and for every individual party there was really valuable.
I really enjoyed our field trip to the Toyota manufacturing plant. We listened to Greg Mordew talk about how multiple stakeholders came together to actually build the new plant for Toyota.
How they competed not only with inside their organization to keep it in Canada, but with the Canadian government and the Ontario government to get the funding necessary to make sure the whole project went off without a hitch.
Visiting Randall Reef, it's known by some as the most polluted site in Canada.
That I didn't expect there would be such a place that is so polluted in Canada.
What was interesting for us to experience was that we actually had the opportunity to go on a boat and view the site for ourselves. In the morning, we had the chance to listen to a lot of stakeholders, the Hamilton Port Authority, Environment Canada, come to us and talk to us about how they were working together to clean up Randall Reef.
Despite the serious pollution, all the different parties, including the public sector and the private sector, are struggling to solve the problem together, dedicating their time and energy to solve the problem in a financially feasible way. And despite the difficulties and challenges that are still ahead, they're still trying, to work this problem out.
If you want to be a successful business leader, you need to understand government. In Business and Public Policy, you'll learn to do just that. Thanks, and hope to see you next fall.